Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Hey, Ira.
Uh, what kind of growth did you see from week 1 to week 2 in terms of scrimmages? Coach Norvell seemed to think that the defense took a big step from the first scrimmage.
I think our communications as a coaching staff was better. We made some adjustments. I mentioned last week I didn't love where we were at as a staff in our communication. Thought our sideline was cleaner. So I think those things got better. I think just our general pursuit was better. So those are things we needed to get better at, and I thought that happened tonight.
Next will be Gene Williams from Warchant.
Good evening, Coach.
Hey, Gene.
Any chance you could give us maybe a sneak preview on who you're going to be tweeting about in your mission takeaways tomorrow? Just curious, but some of the basically, I'm asking who are some of the standouts and any big turnovers maybe you guys picked up tonight.
Yeah, the defense takes the ball away. There are no turnovers allowed. So no, we had Cyrus Fabian had a block kick, which was a big play, and then Travis J, I believe, had an interception. I have to go check it. I don't have all the stats in my head right now, but yeah, I mean, that's our job. I mean, our offense is going to do a great job this year. Our job is getting the ball back. So, we want to promote that. Those are fourth down stops, third down defense. It's all important, but that's our job, to get the ball back to the offense as soon as we can, as close to their end zone as possible. So, and we have high expectations for our players in this program. We want to make sure that they understand that we try to promote them the most we can. So, that's just one aspect that we try to help them.
Good evening, Coach. Last week, Coach Norvell said that you all dominated, and then you came out and you kind of laughed at that description. He said that again this week. Do you kind of laugh at that too today, or are you just kind of satisfied with how things went?
I don't think I laughed at any time, but I didn't think, we had so many just pre-snap issues last week. We were inconsistent with our block destruction, just our hand placement. We didn't chase the ball with the greatest angles. We had less missed tackles tonight, but it's hard. I mean, we're not tackling the quarterback. We call sacks and we're, a yard away from him. I mean, does he break that tackle and throw the ball down the field? Nobody knows. It's a scrimmage, and we're trying to get our guys in the right gaps. We're trying to get our eyes over. And there's a lot of things that we're trying to get done, and listen, we punt the ball. There's no punt returns. So the ball's always going to be further away. The net punt's high. I mean, these things are set up for the defense to be in good position. And listen, our guys played really hard tonight with great energy and passion. They were, one of the things I was most proud about is, we say if you take the field, you're a starter. And, at the end, we had a young guy group up there, and, we had some of the older guys in the secondary still out there, but we had some young guys that really flashed, and that was important to me because last scrimmage we didn't have that. They actually, didn't play up to the standard that we want them to play. So there was some improvement all around. So I don't know if I laughed at any of it, but I definitely, I thought we did a nice job with a really good effort tonight.
Hey, Coach. Last week you spoke about linebackers and them struggling a bit with stuff that was to the edge, to the outside. How much are they just improving on a daily basis with so many young guys in that room with Chris?
I think we're doing a nice job at linebacker. It was good to get to Kalen Brooks back today, and he flashed some. That was good to see. And we're trying to make him interchangeable a little bit. I mean, there's roles. There's the Steven Dixon, DJ Lundy. There's a little bit of a Kevon Glenn today, did a nice job. So it's going to be a group effort at linebacker. Led with Emmett and Leonard. They're the older veterans in the group, and I really like the ownership that those two have taken, not only in defense but in special teams. They're just prideful in their work right now, and with the youngness of some of the younger guys, like I mentioned with DJ, and then you get Amari and Kalen. It's a group that has a good dynamic of some seasoned vets that are really playing their best football or trying to play their best football, and then young guys that should get better every day because they don't know any better. So we're trying to put those guys in the best positions we can. We're starting to move some parts around, trying to marry some guys that are playing with each other and shaking that up, because in a game, that's pretty much how it's going to go. So, I think Chris is doing a nice job, and, that group, is starting to show up. I thought Stephen Dix made some really mature decisions tonight. We put a lot on the backers as far as getting in and out of calls at times. And, Stephen on 2 occasions really did a nice job. And, that's something as a first-year linebacker, listen, when we put him in the game, nobody's going to pause the game and say the freshman's in the game, we got to slow down. I mean, it's not going to make a difference. He's a linebacker at Florida State. There's some standards there. So, but I do like the advancement of that group right now.
Coach, you kind of touched on it earlier with the quarterbacks and not being able to tackle them or what have you. But I think Coach Norvell mentioned maybe the freshmen were allowed to be live. I don't know if that's still the case with Tate. And does that give you a better look or a better feel for what your defense can do, at least pressuring and pressure on
listen, whether you're at all levels of football, I mean, you're only going to be able to tackle quarterback so many times, because they're in that position. When you sack guys, there's bodies all around. You're trying to prevent injuries, but you're trying to make the real look too. So, I mean, we have certain tools that we use during practice to try and simulate that. But probably the least coached play in football is sacking the quarterback because of it. And so, you don't know how the results of these plays are sometimes when you can't finish on those guys. So, that's something we got to continue to coach. Today we had a free blitzer one time, and does he sack him? I don't know. I don't think we had a great angle. It was called sack, and so there's a lot of things in that play, and that's not a Florida State thing. That's nationwide. That's in the NFL, and you just got to keep coaching. We do a takeaway circuit. We do a block destruction circuit, a tackling circuit. We have certain tools in pass rush with robots. I mean, we use just about everything we can to try and coach that part of the game. But there's a big difference now. You miss a sack, and now you belong in coverage, and now you're in a plaster situation with the DBs, and it's one big play. Next thing you know, that's 7 points. So, we're trying to replicate it the best we can, but it's never going to be perfect. But we gotta make sure that we're on the right angles up front with our blitzers and all things to make sure we're doing the right things in the pocket on the quarterback for sure.
Because Leonard Warner has they moved him around to different positions before you guys got here, and I know you're focused more on since you got here, but he's moved positions a little bit, and he's had different coaches, and he's played a lot, but hasn't been super productive. What have you seen from him since you guys got here, and how I guess what has impressed you about him?
He's smart, he's prideful, and he's coachable. Those are the things that jump out. I mean, he's really taking ownership into being a linebacker here at Florida State, which you got to be able to play fast. You got to be really smart. You got to be physically tough. And he fits a lot of those characteristics. And it's been good getting to know Leonard through the last 6 or 7 months now. And I've really seen his maturity throughout the learning process and the ownership of what we're doing on defense. And that's what it's about. I mean, every year I've been a coordinator. If you got some linebackers that take ownership what it looks like with the front, and they create ownership and a learning experience and bring other people along, that usually is the glue to the defense. And that has to be the case this year.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious, when you go nickel package, what are you looking for from that guy, and who are some candidates for the nickel cornerback?
Are you saying when we played nickel?
Yeah.
So when we play nickel, there's a couple things. Sometimes it's a big nickel, and it's the third safety. Sometimes it's true nickel, where it's a third corner. So just based on who we put in the game is kind of the skill set goes along with it. Obviously when we put the third corner in there, we're doing it to play man coverage. What are you going to do? You're going to try to play enough zone coverage, enough match man coverage that you're not definable by the guys you have on the field. But at the end of the day, when you get that third corner in, it's mostly to be able to defend the slot. When you put the third safety in and you play some big nickel, now you're looking to maybe match up on a tight end a little bit more. Maybe you use him as a blitzer. Everything we do, we're doing it to be the best we can within that grouping. But we want to play as much offense and defense as we can. From a standpoint of we want to make teams react to us as well. But at the end of the day, you still got to defend what they have on the field. But we want to be non-rhythmic in a way that when the ball turns over, we want a quarterback to say, well, I think they're going to do this, but they could do this or that. right? The moment that teams can say, hey, when this is on the field, when they line up like this is what you're getting, then I'm doing the players a disservice because, they're going to have a certain skill set, but if the opponent knows exactly what it's going to look like, then it's going to be hard, because there's good coaches out there, there's smart players, and there's good athletes. So we got to make sure that we can define what we want to be when we have the group on the field, but also have enough multiplicity that there's always a first, a second, and third pitch that can possibly be thrown on each play. So, there's a fine balance there to doing what you do best the most and also having enough non-rhythmic calls that you can play offense more.
Hey Adam, we've heard from Coach Norvell after both scrimmages talk about Fabian Lovett and what he's brought to the defensive tackle rotation. What have you seen from Fabian throughout camp, and what does he do for you guys from a depth perspective?
Well, not just as a depth. I mean, he's an impact player. I mean, I'm watching him play, and he wins one-on-ones. He's really aggressive and stout and physical in the run game. He can rush the passer as a 3, as a 2-eye, as a shade, as a 5. He moves really well, especially in short areas. But I mean, he's an excellent addition, just as a football player, but then as a person as well. He's part of our group here on defense that we're counting on. And Fabian's a great young man, and he's going to be an impact player this year for us, and part of that D-line group that we're counting on to run the line of scrimmage here at Florida State.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.